Hello everyone, welcome to For His Namesake. This is Valentine, my daughter, and I'm Martina, her mother. And today we're going to be, the title is Sworn to Secrecy. And we're going to share some stories of people that had to keep secrets for good reasons and bad reasons. And I will start with a brief part of my life that happened when I was a young child, a little girl. I had a family member who was into Satanism, and he would take me to satanic rituals, and I was forced to watch things and do things against my will, and just horrific things that I had to see all the time and put up with, and was abused during those times as well. And one of the things that my perpetrator always told me, and I still remember this to this day, he would say to me, whatever you see, whatever you're going through here, you cannot tell anyone. You must swear you will not tell anyone. And if you do, you know, that was back in the day when we had to do the I promise to say what I'm going to say, hope to die, cross my heart, cross my heart, hope to die. I've already forgotten the words, but something to that extent. But I didn't even have to do that because I was terrified. I was shaking when he was telling me, you're not going to tell anyone this ever, because if you do, you'll never see your mother again. And you're probably wondering, well, why didn't he say you'll never see your parents again? That's because I wasn't very close to my father at the time. He was traveling all the time. But I was very close to my mother. I loved her dearly. And I spoke about her all the time. I loved her dearly. I mean, she was my life. And so that's what he would say to me. He would say, if you say anything to anybody, and if I find out that you told somebody, you will never see your mother again. And I thought right away, oh my goodness, that means probably death. So I kept it a secret for years and years and years. I kept that secret all the way through my adulthood, all the way through college, all the way teens, adulthood, you name it, even into my marriage. Into my early marriage, I still kept that secret. I didn't tell a soul about that. That was between him, me, and God, so to speak. And then finally, when I went through some therapy and some biblical therapy and got through all that and had to go through all the therapy of all the things I went through during that time when I was a little girl, and then I was able to forgive my perpetrator, but I was also able then to boldly tell my mother what had happened. So that's a time when I was sworn to secrecy. That's what this title is. So I thought, well, let's just talk about some other people that was sworn to secrecy. We have some other true stories to share with you. We have it where people were sworn to secrecy in a bad way, like with me, and then there were some that are in a good way because they were doing it for the Lord and they had to be quiet. And so I'm going to let Valentine share a good story about someone who had to keep their mouth shut for a good cause.
Well, this woman is very well known, Corrie ten Boom. And for those of you who don't know who she was a Dutch watchmaker. She and her family made watches, and she was born in 1892 and she died in 1983. And she and her family, they were part of the resistance movement, and then they decided to hide Jews in their own home. And when I read, I think it was up to 800 Jews. I had no idea it was that many. So, but yeah, she was found out eventually. She and her dad and her sister and some others. But that's how long of a secret that was kept. And the day of her arrest, it was still kept secret in a way because there were still some Jews that very day that were hidden behind the wall, and they were not found out. They were rescued by other people who were part of the resistance movement to hide them.
Wow.
So, I mean, I can't imagine what that would have been like during World War II, and having to not even tell your best friend that you're hiding Jews or someone else that you love dearly, that you have to keep quiet about if they're not on your side, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
That must have been tough.
Yes. Especially children. Children have a hard time keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Somehow it always blurts out. Yeah. And now I'm going to share another true story of my mother-in-law. She's deceased now. She was gone to church all her life. was on every committee you can imagine in church. People loved her. She gave her tithes and offerings. People looked up to her. And I'm not here to gossip. We're simply sharing stories of where people were sworn to secrecy. And this one was in a negative way. She was part of the Eastern Star, which is the sisterhood of you've heard of Freemasons. And her church predominantly had a lot of the Masons. They were good people. I don't think that anyone's really good. Even Jesus says no one does good, but you know what I mean. People looked up to them. They were well-respected citizens in their community, but they were also Masons. And you can do your research on Masons. That's a cult. They're into mysticism and some other interesting, a lot of secret activities that they do. And so anyway, there was some leaders in the church, and like I said, the leaders in that church were predominantly Masons at the time, but one of them was not. And he would always kind of tell them, look, what you're doing here is wrong, and you're not, this is not biblical, and you know, that kind of thing. And so eventually they threw him out. And years later, this is now years and years later, and he was very ill, and I asked my mother-in-law, hey, let's go visit Ben. I'm just going to give his name, Ben. Hey, let's go visit Ben in the hospital. He's not feeling well. And she would say, absolutely not. I'm not going to go visit that man. And then I would ask, why not? He's a good man. He's a sweet man. And she'd say, no, he did something that cannot be forgiven. And I thought, well, the only thing that's not forgiven in the Bible says blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. And she said, oh, this is a lot worse than that. And I said, well, according to man, maybe that would be murder. Maybe did he murder someone? And she said, no, a lot worse than that. And I thought, well, goodness. And I said, why can't you tell me what it is? What did he do? And she said, I've been sworn to secrecy. So that's where I got the idea of this title, because she would say that all the time. I've been sworn to secrecy. I cannot tell a soul. And then I would ask her, who told you not to say anything? And she said, I just can't tell you right now. And I said, what will happen will something bad happen to you if you tell? And she said, absolutely. My life depends on it. So then I thought, aha, someone would actually probably kill her if she disclosed the information as to why she could not visit this man in the hospital, what he had done that was so awful. All I can think about was murder. I'm sure there's things worse than murder. That would be probably people murdering lots of people, I would imagine. But she said it was worse, and she couldn't say, and if she did, her life would depend on it, which means she would be killed. So there's an example of Masons, that is a very dangerous thing to be involved with. So if you're involved, and I'm not afraid to step on toes at this point, so there's some Baptists out there. I know there's a lot of Baptists, believe it or not, in leadership that are deacons in the church, and then they also do Masons on the side. That is not biblical at all. So I'm stepping on toes, and I don't mind stepping on toes, because that's just not right at all. Okay, now
if you want to know more about that, we did a video called Jesus Among Other Gods. Mm-hmm. And we mentioned the Freemasons in that video. So maybe my dad can link that video for you in the description box below.
Yeah. Okay. And now I'm always giving Valentine the good stories to share. Because she's such a sweetie. Unless you have some bad ones to share, go ahead.
Another one who kept a secret. I couldn't really find another one who really had a hush-hush, but in a way he did. You probably heard of Brother Andrew. He smuggled Bibles behind the Iron Curtain into communist countries. So those who were on his side, of course, it was not a secret to them, but to the communist government. So that was the part that was secret about it, and you had to be careful, It was illegal to have a Bible in those countries, and still is today in some countries, sadly. So, but yeah, and he wrote a book actually called God's Smuggler. And he was also Dutch, and he recently died in 2022. But that's quite a legacy.
Yes. Wow. Nice. Okay. And then we've got some Bible stories. Believe it or not, back in the Bible days, people also had to keep secrets or had to do something in a secretive way. Let's see. There was, of course, the story of Esther, who had to keep her Jewish identity hush-hush. in front of King, probably not going to pronounce his name, Xerxes.
Or King Xerxes.
Right, to protect her people, so she was quiet about that.
Until the right time.
Right, yeah. So there's an example of someone keeping a secret. Did you have some more in mind?
I didn't have any people down.
Okay, then believe it or not, Jesus himself, in his earlier part of his ministry, commanded his disciples to be quiet about, and other people that he would run into, like people that he would heal, he would say, now don't tell anybody. So I thought that was kind of cute. And I'm not making fun of him. I just thought it was kind of cute that he didn't want anybody to know who he was in the beginning of his ministry, and he would just say, don't tell anyone. So they had to keep it secret, even though they were so excited. Can you imagine just getting healed of something and you want to go tell the world about it, but you can't? You have to be quiet. You have to keep it a secret. That had to be really, really hard. Another one was Moses' mother, Jochebed, I think is her name. Jochebed, she kept her baby hidden. She kept baby Moses hidden because he was a beautiful baby. I don't know. I guess she was afraid that people might snatch him away or...
There was a law, the Pharaoh, when all male babies killed.
Okay, that's why, yeah. So she kept him hidden for 3 months, and she had to keep a secret, and then she was even protective after that, and then she had him put in that little basket. I thought that was a cute little story, and that little, I forgot what it was made out of, straw or something. Reed, and then just kind of had him float down the river, and I thought that was so cute. And all the while this older sister was watching, so it was just a secret amongst them. So those are some stories of people keeping secrets in the Bible. And here's a Bible verse I forgot to share in the beginning. It says in Luke chapter 12 verse 2, there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. So either way, the truth is going to come out. That's what I would think. Like, just like with me, the truth came out in the end. I was able to tell my own mother, the very person that was going to be killed if I were to say anything, but I went and told her first before I told anyone else. Well, I think I told my husband because he was going with me to therapy, but still, she was the next one in line that I told that secret to. So eventually it will come out, whether by mistake you just happen to say it, or you were forced, or you want to boldly share your secret, like I wanted to share that with my mother, that I was sworn to secrecy. And and then I had another Bible verse somewhere in Proverbs. Here it is, Proverbs chapter 21 verse 23. He that keeps the law is blessed, and he that keeps his tongue is wise. I think that means don't speak too quick about things. Just learn to be quiet when you need to be quiet. Yeah. And so sometimes it's good to keep a secret, like we talked about these missionaries and Christian people and Jewish people that were doing things for God. That's in a good way that you're keeping a secret. And then there's the bad one, like where I shared about me, and then my mother-in-law sworn to secrecy. That I mean, she's gone now, so I was just dying to know what. And then this man also died, the one that was in the hospital. He died too. So, I guess it's just best I don't know. But yeah, so we just wanted to share. We thought this would be kind of a neat discussion to talk about, something different. And if you know of anyone, or if you yourself have been sworn to secrecy and you don't mind sharing, and there's something in the past that you had to do and you're glad it's over with and you're glad it's out in the open now, and you want to share it in the comments, you're welcome to. If not, you can send us a personal email. And Valentine, what's the email? I should know the email address, but I don't.
For his name's sake, 106@gmail.com. And when you're writing his email, we've gotten more than one person who said that they've tried to send email and it just won't go through. Make sure that you're putting in 2 S's. So it's for his name's sake. The names and the sake, that's 2 S's. You might accidentally just be doing the one.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
Yes. Yeah. Great.
Well, I did have one more verse to share.
Go ahead.
From Ecclesiastes 12:14. For God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. So even the good, apparently, God examines every work that we do. And if it is for a good cause, you will still be judged for it. Make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to do. Like if you say that you're going to do something and keep a secret, don't blab it off somewhere else. Because that's not right either. And if you're doing something evil, like we said, you're going to be judged for that too. And there's lots of other verses that says God sees the inside of our heart.
Yes.
Even if you think you're keeping a secret, you can't keep secrets from God. He knows everything.
Yeah. That's true. Well,
we hope that you like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. And we hope that you have a blessed day. And we will see you, Lord willing, on the next one. Goodbye.
bye-bye.